Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Joshua and this is Rooftop. In today's workshop, we're going to be doing a watercolor landscape painting. Now we have seen different types of landscapes. We have seen a mountainous one, we have seen, a slightly cartoonish one. So we'll be going through, different styles of, painting, and through that we will explore some different techniques and how, we can approach them. So let's begin. Okay. So I'll start off with a drawing. Okay. I'll place my paper here so that you can see. Alright. So today's workshop, it's going to be, you could say, a slightly easy drawing, but in this simplicity, there are a few complexities. You get the point. So let's begin. So this will be sort of a lighthouse type of painting. So a little bit hilly with a few trees, the clouds at the back, and a bit of the seaside being seen. So from here, I will start drawing the hill. And then the same thing this side. And over here we can have a rock that comes down a little bit there. So this is also going to be a slightly stylized or a slightly cartoonized type of painting. But through this we will be, learning how we can create or how we can use the watercolors. This. And here we can have some slight grass down there, just like that. From here, I will have the lighthouse come up. I think that all should be good enough. And then we'll have the door over here. So now we're looking at it from a distance. So it's going to look much smaller than the actual size of it if you would stand close or under the building. Then here you can have a few of the trees. Just like this, and before I complete the tree, right, I'll complete the land that is there, because if you could see the tree is planted into the land, pun intended. So over here we'll have this hill come down like that. Here I'll just do some few lines like this to show that there are gaps between the trees basically. Okay, and then here we'll have this one slightly bushy kind of tree. Okay, like that. You see, we have a lot of people joining me now. So how do you guys like the watercolor workshops if you have seen the previous ones? Because the response I've been getting is, quite a lot for the watercolor ones as compared to the others. So if you want me to, make more of watercolor paintings or maybe regarding certain techniques, you can let me know, and then I can, try to push more watercolor workshops this, and this part I can bring down. So you see, it's very jagged kind of lines. There's no straight lines here, and I'm making it very spontaneous also. Over here we'll have the sand of the beach. Okay, just like that. And then here on top I will draw the top of the lighthouse, maybe a little bit lower, and then a line up there. Just like this. And then we can add some trees over here. So in case you're wondering what this is, this area here in the middle is basically the bark of the tree or the trunk of the tree. And then over the top I will start adding the branches and the leaves and everything that comes with it, but in a very simplified form. Like that. And over here we'll have the horizon, or the line between the sky and the sea. So for watercolor, right, you don't need to have very detailed sketches. The simpler you keep it, the better it is for you. Select this over here. I'll just draw some lines to show that there are rocks sticking out like that. Maybe one line here. And then for the sea, we can have some waves like this, right about there. So there you go, that looks pretty good. Just like that. So our drawing is done for now. Now we can start with the painting part. Okay, so now for my paint, I'm using the watercolor cakes. I think what I can do is I can keep these to the right so you can see, and I'll keep this paper to the left. Okay, and I have a cup of water here. Alright, and if you look at these colors here, again I say this in every workshop, it is left intentionally like that so that I can use these colors once again for these paintings. So these colors, once they are still reusable, which is why these cakes also. And even if you have the tubes, those also work as well. Okay. So I will start with the background. I will take my brush over here. I'll take some water only first and just start spreading it around here. So I'm taking only water right now and I'm wetting the paper. We'll add a good amount of water. Just make sure that your paper is thick enough to handle watercolors. So otherwise what can happen is that your paper will start to blot, and we don't want that happening. This, okay, I think that should be just about enough water. So I'll just go over certain areas to make sure that the water is done. Water is done, the paper is wet. Okay, now over here I'll take some blue color, just like that. Then I can start applying it. Now if you look at that, that is too dark. So I will remove a bit of paint from my brush and start spreading it like this. And then I can draw clouds by leaving empty spaces. I don't need to paint the clouds in that sense. I can just leave empty gaps in between and the clouds will automatically form. So like this, a little bit here. A little bit this side, like that. So if I use the tip of my brush, you can see the line, but if I press it down flat, it will become a lot more softer. So that way, using your brush also is a technique in its own, and knowing how to use your brush. Okay, now maybe slightly at the top, I can just add a bit more blue there. Just make sure it is diluted a bit because we don't want it to be too dark also. Just enough that it can give us a smooth gradation. Like this, I'll just pull it down a little bit, like that. Over here also I can add it. So this technique is called wash technique, where you basically wet the paper and then you put paint on it. And the reasons why you do that is to have a very soft blend in the background. Like that. And maybe a little bit here also. Very slightly, or very subtle. Yeah, so you can see here how it's a little bit dark, so we only need to keep it very subtle. And one thing is that when you use watercolors, the color tends to dry much lighter as compared to what you see. So if you look at this blue over here, once the paint dries, it will become much lighter. Okay, now I can start working on the trees and the sort of grassland on top. So for that, now if you don't want to use any of these colors here, you can then just wet it like this quite easily. And then take your tissue and wipe it off. It's as good as new. There you go, you see? And it's very easy to clean. Since it's water based, you don't need to put soap or anything like that, or you don't need to scrub it also. Just apply some water and it's good to go. Okay, now I will take some green color over here. So I'm taking some light green. Because I have quite a bit to paint. And in this green I will add a little bit of blue, not too much. A little blue and a little brown also. So when you add brown, it will make the color look a little dim, you could say. It will darken the color and neutralize it. Neutralize it meaning, see, like this. Like that. And the same thing this side also for this tree. So I will keep some gaps in the middle and then start doing the branches and the leaves, and I'm going to make it entirely flat because remember, this is a cartoonized or a stylized painting. Just like that. Okay, and I'll take some lighter green again, mix it into this since I want it a bit lighter. And then let me check. Yeah, this color is good over here. And I'll do just a bit like that. I'll keep a bit of gap down there. Over here I will add this also. All the way till this side. Here I'll keep a bit of a gap and bring it downwards. Nice. And then for this side as well. So now if you see, I'm doing wet on dry. The technique that I'm doing is wet on dry, meaning the paint that I'm using has water and the paper that I'm painting on is dry as compared to this, which is wash. So wet on wet basically. So wet on wet would be a slightly different concept. It would follow along the same lines, but instead of wetting the paper, we would paint on wet paint itself. So now how this side is wet, I'll take another color and paint over this. Then that would be the wet on wet technique. If I wet the paper and then put paint on it like this area here, that would be the wash technique. Okay, so here, so I can take some more paint also, mix it nicely. Add a tiny bit this side. I'll take some blue. I'll darken this green a little bit, like that. Now this tree I can continue it on to the left side. So we want it to be very patchy. We don't want it to, be very stiff and focus too much on realism or anything. And that's the thing about watercolor, right? Is it's such a spontaneous medium. So like this. Then if I take this again and darken this side. So now if you see this paint, the tree that is there below this, it has already dried. And then I'm putting another layer of paint to it, meaning I am layering now. So it will then become darker. And the more layers you add to your painting, the better it gets. Of course, it depends as to how much also you need to put. Just simply putting more and more is not going to make much sense to it. I think I'll increase this one's height a little bit. I don't have to, but I just feel like it. And I'll keep some gaps also in between to show that there are gaps in it. Okay. Now again, I will take this lighter green, mix it in here, and I want it relatively light, so I'll keep a bit of water there. So if you want to lighten your paint, you basically just add more water to it. See, like this over here. See this? It's super light. It's not white, but it is light green. So it is the same color as this part, but I just added more water into my paint and then I applied it down here. Okay, now I can work a bit over here. This tone, I'll take a little bit of yellow ochre and apply it like this. Take a bit of this green, maybe this green. There you go, just like that. And now to paint this land over here, I will start off with the yellow ochre that I have. So like this. Apply a bit there. So for watercolor, we always start from light to dark. We don't go from dark to light. If you do that, then it will be very difficult to get lighter colors. I'll put this there. I'll take a little bit of brown, mix it in, a little bit of green also. And paint this part as well. Now there is too much blue. I don't want that much blue also. I'll just take a little bit of blue. like that. So for the shadows, blue or purple is an excellent color to use because it gives the feeling of shade falling. So we all had a bit of blue on this side as well. There. So you can see that very slight variation in color. That's what we need. And the same thing on this piece as well. So again, I will take some brown, maybe a little bit more water, a bit more brown, a little bit of blue in this. Like that. So I mixed brown and blue. Maybe a little bit of ochre to lighten it up. That. And we'll take it up here. Let it mix in a little bit with this other color. And so also I'll give it some very uneven lines. I don't want it to look very flat like that. You see, already we're getting so much depth in this. And then I'll come back here. I'll add this there. A stroke down here. Take a little bit of blue, mix it in. Maybe a little bit of ochre also to lighten it up. If that feels too dark, then you can dry a brush and then just take a dry brush and spread this out. Like that. And over here also to add like a shadow for the trees. You can take this color and just add it down here. Like that. Then now it feels like this shadow falling down from the trees. A bit like that. Okay. Now I can try experimenting a little bit. I'll take a little bit of red and mix a bit of blue in it to get this purplish color, and I will try applying it here like that. A little bit this side. We'll try to see what type of effect this color gives us. same thing this side also. I'll put a little bit of color there. Add some crooked lines to give, you know, this very broken rock kind of texture. Like that. Okay, I think that should be enough for now. If anything, we can always come back and check up on it. Over here, I will just add a little bit of color to darken this bit. Yeah, because we will be adding pens as well. We will be using pens. Okay, now we're almost done with this painting. We only have this one rock and then the sea left. This will be done really quick. You know what, we can do this. So I'll take a bit of red here. And mix it in with this blue. If it is too purplish, we can always add more blue to it. If it's too blue, you can add more red to it. If you add a little bit of brown into this, it will darken up a bit more. So over here, I will add this color here. Let me just move that out of the way for a sec. I'll start with the edges. And the same thing this side. Now if I take my tissue to lighten this up, yeah, and this white patch, the reason I left it there is because I did not add the tree part over there. Just like this. So now once it dries, it will lighten up again. So I can take maybe a bit lighter green. There you go, like that. And as for this, I can straighten this one out a little bit. Just like that. And I'll let that be for it to dry. Okay, now coming to this, I will take some Let's clean this part first. Now we'll take some yellow ochre. I'll start with yellow ochre first. So I'll just put this color down. The same color I'll use over here as well. With maybe a little bit of brown in there. This will be a bit light. And then I will take my blue color and start adding a few patches down like this. Lighten it up a bit with some water. Okay, I think we'll leave that to dry. I can just take a little bit of blue here. And add it to this. That is a bit too much, so I'll clean my brush and just spread this out like that until we reach the sea. Some blue with a little bit of brown. शीशी वाले watercolor यूज कर सकते हैं. हाँ, पोस्टर कलर भी यूज कर सकते हैं इसमें, लेकिन अगर पोस्टर कलर यूज करने वाले हो तो इसका जो इफेक्ट है इसकी तरह नहीं होगा. अगर इसकी तरह बनवाना है आपको तो आपको बहुत ज़्यादा पानी मिक्स करना पड़ेगा पोस्टर कलर में. कि जो पोस्टर कलर है वो एक्रिलिक की तरह भी है और वाटर कलर की तरह भी है. ठीक है, अभी I'll take this red. This part here. Okay, so now over here I will add a little bit of blue, a little red and a little brown, a bit more of blue. Over here also with a little bit of brown. Just like that. Okay, now I can take my pen and I can start doing the outline like this. Then over here also for the trees we can start adding it, in a very shaky kind of way. Like that. Now it will be very subtle on camera, but in your drawing you'll be able to see it a lot more visibly. Like that. And then here also just like this. If you go on the white also, it is okay. It will just add more stylizing to your drawing. Like that. And then this side you can add a little bit there from here. Nice. There you go. And the lines also that I'm drawing, it's not very straight. I'm keeping it a little shaky so that it looks a lot more natural. Like this. Over here also you can add just a little bit there. we can add this grass over here. A little bit on the curve of this sand or this beach. Nice. Over here we can take it up a little bit, and then for the sea, there you go. A little bit there, maybe a little bit here also. And we're done. So there you go. This is our final work. So let me show it to you in the front camera. This is what we have made. So I hope you enjoyed this workshop. I hope you got to learn, some new techniques, some new approaches to painting as well. Yeah. And also at 3:30, we will be doing a page out of our art ventures of Cherryal art. So if you have this book, feel free to join me. If you do not, you can still join me by just grabbing a piece of paper and some watercolors, and you're set to go. So thank you so much for joining me on this workshop, and I will see you all again at 3:30. So take care and bye-bye.